Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here with your weekly bonus live reaction replay video. If you guys don't know what I usually do with replays, I sit down and watch them for the first time with you guys, so you guys get my genuine live reaction to whatever it is that is happening in the background. It's less of an analysis of what's going on and just we're going to watch it together and see what type of craziness happens. And well, it's always a fairly crazy time when I get sent an Illinois replay. So this is the Illinois, the Tier 9 American battle cruise ship thing. She has 12 of Des Moines' guns, which is a little ludicrous, of course, on essentially an Iowa hull. It is, well, it's actually the Illinois hull. I'm not, sorry, not the Illinois. Well, it is the Illinois hull, but it's a similar hull to the Wisconsin in that its citadel is lowered to where it's just below the waterline. So it's a really difficult citadel to get at compared to the other Iowa ships like the Iowa and the Missouri. It's being driven today by GABA Gaming, who we will refer to as just GABA from here on out. And if you notice, right on top of his mast in the back, that is Halsey's flag, so he does have Halsey on board. And this is Arms Race. And in Illinois, you can see where this is going. Now, I don't know what happens. I usually get sent a very brief description in the emails that I do receive. So I have an idea of what's going to happen. And I do believe you're going to want to stick around for it. Because, again, Illinois, Arms Race, Halsey, you can kind of see where this is going. AP out on the rune from 19 kilometers away. Look at that stuff flying through the air. It's second day airmail, fellas. And typically I would open up with HE at this range, but never mind. Alright. Settling runes from 20 kilometers. I'm surprised the shells still have the pinning power at that range to pin anything. Wow. I mean, it is a rune, right? The German heavy cruisers have some very odd armor layouts, right? Which do lead to them getting chunked by a lot of stuff at range and even at, well, yeah, at long range, at close range. Battleship caliber guns typically do weird things to them, but this is a cruiser's guns, right? But okay, I mean, it worked. What do I know? Alright, so he's sticking with the AP, which is pretty odd. Most Illinois players that I've seen, they usually just, load HE and spam the entire time. And then typically when you get to closer range, they'll swap on over to the AP. And that's exactly what I do too. I usually don't bother with AP at ranges that are, beyond 10, 12 kilometers because typically, again, by the time the shells get there, they're not really hitting the parts of the ship you would want them to. But it appears that GABA just has his aim down. I mean, like, he just got 5 pins off of this Veneto at 14 kilometers. Enemy Edinburgh takes out the friendly Eindrak. The scores are reversed yet again. So sometimes in these replay files, the game will reverse the scores to where the enemy team score is the friendly team score and the friendly team score is the enemy team score. So just be aware of that if you're looking at the scoreboard above. But the friendly team is down a cruiser and a destroyer already. Looks like the enemy team has gone pretty heavy out to the east, and they have secured a fair number of buffs already. Now, GABA's team has secured one reloading buff, which I'm sure he's enjoying here on his Illinois, but the enemy team has secured a healing buff, a reloading buff, and a damage buff. So they're getting a bit more of a performance out of their ships. And typically you can tell which direction these arms race games are going to go based upon what team actually secures the buffs. Because like many a mode, many a game, it does come down to, who plays the objective and who gets the caps and such. It's even more so important in arms race when you're dealing with buffs. Hey, look, Thorijo came up from 6 kilometers, and GABA has loaded the HE in his guns. Waiting for him to commit to the turn, gives him the shells, and unfortunately he aims a little bit too high, so only gets 1 or 2 shell hits on him. But I believe the follow-up shot should be much more devastating with 12 203mm guns, and sure enough, it is. Gets 8 of the 12 shells on target, and there you go. What is his reload down to now? Those 203s. 7.9 seconds so far. Pretty good, pretty good. Bismarck out from 17 kilometers. And let's see, what's going on out west? The friendly team has the advantage out west. They're only dealing with a Chumphon, a Sinop, and an Alsace. And they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ships out there. Over in the east, we have the friendly Bismarck, the friendly Tirpitz, the Kitakazi, and Gaba and his Illinois. So, yeah, looks like the teams unironically mirrored each other. You know, you have a weak flank out west for the enemy team and a weak flank out east for the friendly team, and vice versa. Alright, so he's getting the HE spam on in Bismarck for 14 kilometers out. Trying to see where his shells are going. Again, like with the arc and the air drag that American shells have, it just feels like they take forever to get to where they're going. And keep in mind, the Bismarck's only 13 kilometers away. And look how much lead he's having to give them. That's how crazy these shells are. Which is typically why, you know, like Des Moines and Salem's and such, or any American heavy cruiser, they typically play near the cap, you know, next to island cover, so they can play close and aggressive. And they don't have to worry about, you know, having to break out the old trigonometry to figure out where your shells are going to be going. So no fires here in that Bismarck. I don't think so, huh? Has RNG just hated him so far? I think so. You have a Veneto that's pushing up. He's also much closer than the Bismarck at 9 kilometers. Alright, that should land somewhere in his superstructure. Okay, so no, he does have a couple fires on the Bismarck. I'm just checking his damage is going up right now, so that means he has some fires out there. Edinburgh takes out his division mate, Noel in the Bismarck. Alright, Kitakazi bumps into the Illinois. He might try to use that smoke screen, but I think the smoke firing penalty is a little bit too much with the Veneto right there. It appears that Gaba has become the center of attention for the enemy team. Mogador is spotted from 11 kilometers away. Gives him a round of AP. I think he's loading AP to deal with the Bismarck or the Veneto. But my god, he's now farming potential damage, ladies and gentlemen. Almost up to 1 million already. He's got the attention of the Bismarck, of the Veneto, and I think the Edinburgh and the Mogador are all shooting at him at once. This is the average Sea Lord experience on stream, by the way. Alright, he has HE in the tubes. You have a Bowen Bismarck. Things are kind of the same out west. This team hasn't really done too much one way or another. I mean, they're kind of trading kills. They did just take out the sun up out west. Alright, that Bismarck might be eating a couple of torpedoes there from the friendly Kitakazi. He uses torpedo reload boost to get 2 sets of torpedoes off. Yeah, that Bismarck's going to get one on the nose. And looks like he might eat another one. Gaba's giving him a couple of HE shells to finish him off. And you do want to get these enemy ships down as fast as possible. Oh, he does dodge the other set of torpedoes. Veneto's got a couple of racks of torpedoes coming at him, courtesy of the Tirpitz. I think the Tirpitz got both of his racks off, looks like. No, looks like he only got one. Alright, Bismarck going broadside, so his HE loaded. Gets another fire on the Bismarck. And if the Bismarck uses damage, yeah, he had to use damage kind of stop that flag. So that is a permafire on that Bismarck. So that Bismarck should go down unless he has a heal up and ready to go. Alright, Veneto's still pushing hard into the friendly team. Kitakazi is very low. Gets one last salvo off from the Bismarck to make sure he goes down. Because I think it's the last salvo on the Bismarck. And sure enough, there it is. Gets taken out by the fire he set on him. Alright. Now we have Veneto pushing hard into the enemy team, the friendly team. Who I'm surprised Veneto hasn't tried to take out the Kitakazi yet. He might be. Is he a secondary build Veneto? He very well might be. That's an interesting little ship right there, fella. Alright, but HE into the Veneto's face. Gets another fire on the Veneto. The Rune is trying to get payback for the Citadel that Gaba gave to him earlier. Gaba pops his heel. Things out west have kind of gone well for the friendly team. You have Le Fantas, Megami, and Nawami inside the cap circle that just spawned. And you definitely want to get that cap circle because that gives you 10 points per second. Alright. Veneto eats a torpedo from, I think, the Tirpitz of all ships. And then gets taken out by the main battery guns of the Tirpitz. Alright, so that went well. And Gaba's now at 116,000 damage. And climbing. Alright, so that went okay. I mean, they took out a few ships, but unfortunately they are way, way out of the action now. Although Gaba has showed that he can get these Illinois guns to work at this range. You have a Pommern pushing into the A-cap, which that's going to be scary for the ships that are in the A-cap. And that Alsace, I'm not sure if he was AFK or what, but now he's moving down into the A-cap because he was spotted once, and then we haven't seen much from him since then. And he got briefly spotted there by the Megami, but then the Pommern takes out the Megami. Alright, you have a full health Rune over here. along with an Edinburgh that's my Discord, not yours. An Edinburgh that's staying smoked up and is doing his best to farm out the Turpits that is with Gabba. Mogador spotted yet again, and again, now that the enemy team has 2 instances of healing, is getting a free heal, because he normally doesn't get one. So the friendly team has picked up the, on the buff game. They have 2 heals now, they have 1 HP buff, and they still have their reload and damage buff from before. Alright, there is the rune that, I'm pretty sure it's the same rune he Citadel, but again with the healing buffs, he's now back up to full HP, which I'm sure he's happy about. But Gabba has AP for him again. It'd be really funny if he doesn't Citadel him from this close, but you can Citadel him from 19 kilometers. There you go. Triple Citadel for 20k off of the rune, following that up with another salvo. Rune is forgetting what his rudder does, gets another Citadel off of him for 10k, and as Rune slinks behind the island. If he's smart, he'll turn... Hey, there's that Edinburgh from earlier. Well, from earlier, he's been there this entire time. Another round of Citadels on the rune for high caliber. And 160,000 damage done, 2 kills so far. Will he finish off the rune here? Oof, so close. The Turpits is probably going to finish him off. His shells are already inbound. But no, Turpits does not finish him off because German battleship accuracy is German battleship accuracy. Oh, but there we go. Follow-up shot does finish off the rune. Okay, he has a Palmhorn directly in front of him going into the cap, contesting it with his Le Fantast, which, you know, he's doing the Lord's work over there, contesting the cap. Edinburgh is now going to attempt to, I guess, bow tank the Illinois. 9k there, knocks his turret out. Now, granted, I mean, let's see how he does. Okay, yeah, no, definitely keep the AP loaded. 9k again to the Edinburgh. Just by chunking the crap out of his superstructure, it does seem. 3k, superstructure might be getting a little saturated now, or he's just not landing as many shells. 4k, you know, I maybe would have swapped over to AP by now. But I mean, he is killing him one way or another, it does seem like. Okay, 6k, good round there. And 3,500? Yeah, I would have swapped to HE. Just start burning him down by now. Yeah. Because you see, when you do remove all the HP from a portion of the ship, it gets saturated, and now you can only do a very minimal amount of damage to it. But, I mean, it is working, but unfortunately, he is getting kind of cooked in return from the Edinburgh AP. There we go. Edinburgh down for his 3rd kill of the match. And there's an Alsace from earlier, who's still very healthy. I mean, granted, again, the enemy team does have 2 heals going on. Speaking of heals, Gabba pops his. And he's got 1 left after this. Ooh, hello, Palmern broadside. And Gabba does have AP loaded. Trying to back up to make sure he can fire this undetected, which, there we go. He can abuse the island to do so, just like a true American cruiser. 7k to the Palmern. Another salvo out. And this should be pretty good. German broadside and German superstructure is nice and juicy to that American Mark 8 super heavy AP. There we go. There's Confederate. Now he has Halsey's reload, where he gets a 20% buff to his reload time. So his reload now, with Adrenaline Rush and with all the, well, with a single buff, is now 5.7 seconds, down from the 8 seconds he had earlier. Eat your heart out, Wooster. Alright, Alsace pushing in. The pretty healthy Alsace here. Ooh, unfortunately, most of that does hit the upper armor belt. He's sticking with AP for the moment. I'm assuming he's wanting to chunk the crap out of his superstructure. Not really happening, so he swaps on over to good old HE. Keep in mind, he's been firing AP for most of this game. He's up to 250,000 damage. As you see, he's kind of stubborn about that, but I mean, it's obviously working for him. Alright, HE into the superstructure. The Alsace, he gets a couple of fires there. Well, he gets 1 fire there to be exact. Oh, but the Alsace damage cons a single fire. That is a terrible idea when you're pushing to something that is HE spammy like the Illinois. That's a mistake so many Battleship players make. Because now that fire that Gabba just set, that is a permanent fire. And any fire he sets now is going to be a perma fire. It's going to burn its full duration before the Alsace's damage con comes off a cooldown. So now he's got 2 fires on the Alsace. It's burning away quite nicely. And you can see the damage that those 2 fires are doing. Keep in mind, you can set up to 4 fires if this Alsace isn't running fire prevention, which it probably is, but even 3 fire. Ooh! Alsace gets a good bite on the Illinois somewhere, and chunks a huge portion of Galba's health. Now, he does have one heal left. He is using it right now. So, yeah, he's got to get this All-Sauce down before he manages to do that. Again, All-Sauce going in broadside. Stick with HE for now. Spice hasn't popped on over to AP. Now he has... Oof, man. The French guns hurt, man. Sets a third fire on the All-Sauce as the All-Sauce goes down for his 4th kill of the match. Oh, the Palmer's nearby. How do we know this? Because he's spotted by Hydra, which means the Palmer is somewhere within 5.5 kilometers of GABA. So, or 6 kilometers of GABA. So, the Palmer can see him and knows that he's at pretty low HP. And the Palmer's fairly healthy. Keep in mind, they have 3 healing buffs now. So, Palmer's getting a pretty decent heal there. Looks like it's about, what is that? 50, 49, yeah, about 50 points a second worth of regen. Now, Palmer is pretty scary, especially in a close quarter scenario. So while the friendly team does have 3 ships left alive, they're pretty low. Very low in Gaba's case. And Palmer can very well take them all on at the same time and win. It's that good at close quarters combat with its secondaries and its torpedoes and its 12, 15-inch guns. There's a Tirpitz up, but as you guys saw there when Gaba looked to his left a little bit, that Tirpitz is also fairly low. And the Le Fantast, I think he's pretty low too. Now, granted, the friendly team is getting a heal buff as well, so the Palmer can't sit there for forever and wait to get back up to almost full HP and then go for it. He's got to make his move relatively soon, especially before that A cap gets captured, because again, 10 points a tick. That's a pretty hefty points gain for whomever caps it. So, looks like they're just playing a little bit of ring around the island at the moment. And Gaba is, I'm sure he's just trying to milk this for every single second that he can get, so that he can get his health back. And oh yeah, that is a very low Le Fantast, down to 4,000 HP. But again, he does have the heal buff, so he is earning a fair bit of that back every second. Looks like Palmer decided that enough is enough, and he's moving in. Actually, I think he was just trying to back his way off the island. I think he had beached. Now, Gaba's in a pretty good place because he can lob his shells over this island into the Palmer and with essentially impunity, because he's not going to get spotted because the island is between himself and the Palmer. So let's see how this goes down, fellas. Alright, Palmer's in the cap. He's going to contest it here while he's in it, so the friendly team would no longer be gaining points. AP out from Gaba's Illinois into the Palmer and superstructure there for 5,000 damage. Tirpitz opens up on him. Le Fantast. Oh, Le Fantast is even being bold enough to open up on him as well. 4,900 from his superstructure getting melted. Yep, no, he's getting melted pretty good. Yeah, he's getting jumped at the moment. HE, really, HE on the Palmer's guns. Oh, I think he was anticipating the Le Fantast being there, wasn't he? But nah, okay. Yeah, you know, when you're 1v3 in a Palmer... Oh, man, he almost got the Tirpitz. Look at that, though. Tirpitz down at 3,800 HP there. He almost got the Tirpitz. Yeah, man, that... I didn't even see... What was his final damage? 300 and what? 333,000 damage. 4 kills. Almost 500 shell hits there, ladies and gentlemen. So he got General Offensive, Confederate Strike Team, Dreadnought, and High Caliber. Man, that was... Let's see. How many AP shells did he fire? He fired 220 AP shells and 244 HE shells. Almost as much AP as he was firing HE. Again, we know when he had the Alsace, and I believe the what was the other one that he got? The Veneto was pushing into me. He had to shoot HE. But, I mean, yeah, that's almost a 50-50 split between AP and HE. Again, most Illinois players that I see don't really do that. So, Gaba, thank you for sending that in, my guy. A most interesting match for sure. So, if you have a match like this where something interesting or funny or hilarious happens, you can feel free to send it into the email linked in the description down below or in the community Discord. So, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, wonderful rest of your week. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.